Just the way you show me. Welcome to the latest edition of Making the Case for Your Lawyer Dreams. I'm your host, the one and only Anthony Denmark, founder of BecomingJD, where our mission, our goal, is to make sure that you guys have the tips, the skills, the resources, contacts, and networking opportunities to help you successfully navigate your lawyer dream from acceptance to finals to bar passage to being sworn in. I'm so happy that we've been able to create a wonderful platform for you guys to be able to get those resources. This will be our 60th episode, so I'm so excited. We've been blessed in 2024 to have guests come on to share their stories, to inspire you. We've had expert comes on to be able to give you guys gems and tools. And you know what? We're starting 2025 the same way. And so welcome to Making the Case for Your Lawyer Dreams. As our show begins to fill up, I want you guys to let us know, where are you viewing our session from? Of course, I'm holding it down in St. Louis, Missouri. It's not the place where I want to be, but it's the place currently where God has me. So I see DeRay in the house. I see Anthony. I see Kenya. I see Joanne. So fill up our chat box. Let us know where you're viewing our session from. I'm really excited about our next guest, and I'm sure she's going to have an amazing story for you guys to tell. What's going on, Maria? In the midst, while that's going on, I hope you guys this week, I really try to be very intentional in sharing information with you guys to help you guys get the answers that you need. Of course, we know we got the PreLaw conference going on at Cooney Law on Friday, and I know today we had a workshop hosted by Cleo where they talked about the JD Next. And so anytime things are going on, I'm going to try to make sure that you guys have access to that information. That you're not going to find it in my posts. You for damn sure are going to make sure and find it in my stories. This week, we've also had a great opportunity to be able to meet with deans of admissions. And so you're going to see that collaboration happening a little bit in the near distant future, where you're going to have deans of admissions going to be coming on as guests to answer your questions. Nevertheless, as the room fills up, I'm excited for you guys to be here. I know right now we have a lot of people, my 1Ls are coming back to school, starting back up again. We got my aspiring lawyers who are applying to law school, waiting for LSAT scores or just got their JD Next scores, sending prayers and positive vibes to everybody and their mama and their cousins too, who may be taking the LSAT this weekend. We're sending prayers and positive vibes. We know wherever you are in your journey, it is never easy. The gas pedal has to be applied so you guys are able to successfully navigate this space and take the next step in your lawyer dreams. I want you guys to be able to understand that this journey is hard, but nevertheless, hard is not impossible. In fact, the word impossible means I am possible. So I want you guys to be able to understand that everybody at some particular point, everybody rock and rolls, everybody that's been sworn in as lawyers have been exactly where you are. So understand, the easy thing to do is quit. But fam, we know ain't no quit in us. Am I right? Am I right, Bree? Ain't no quit in us. And so as our room fills up, I'm going to go ahead and send an invitation to our girl, Latasha. So Latasha can get on here and share her amazing story of how she came from, how she started with a dream and made the dream happen. And so let's go ahead and get her on. Attorney Latasha. Please pull up so I'll be there. Attorney Latasha. There we go. Yes, Attorney Latasha Heflin. Are you here? Come on, sis. All right. Okay, so I'm going to send a message to her so she could be able to join the chat, so she could be able to join us. Nevertheless, during the workshop that was hosted by JD Next and by Cleo, what we were able to discover in there is I learned some things that could be very helpful to you. So I learned one thing that, guess what, you could take the JD Next multiple times. So let's say you take the JD Next and you do not like your score. You literally can take the JD Next again. Another thing I learned also, you guys, is that let's say you're taking the JD Next and one of the schools you're interested in applying to is not one of the schools that's currently taking the JD Next. Do you know that the JD Next will still mail your JD Next score summary to those schools for you? And so these are things that are very helpful because I know at times and also we know that now the JD Next is offering scholarships. And if you're actually able to be a Cleo, if you join Cleo, you can literally be eligible to get one of the scholarships to take the JD Next for free 99 or for a reduced rate. And how much does it cost to join Cleo? Absolutely nothing. And so I want you guys to be able to look and see how these valuable resources can be able to help you. As soon as the video for the actual workshop becomes available, becomes available, I'll make sure and post it to my stories and also probably post it to my YouTube channel so you guys can be able to have access to it. Because at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you guys have these resources, okay? So again, I'm going to make sure and say it again. So with the JD Next, you can take it more than one time. 2, if you join Cleo, you could qualify to be able to do the JD Next for free 99. 3, if in fact you do the JD Next, and let's say the JD Next currently right now is accepted by 56 law schools. If you take the JD Next and it's a school it's a school that's currently not taking the JD Next, if you tell JD Next to send a score there, they'll send a score to that particular school for you. So that could be something that could be very, very helpful. Let's see if we can try to get Attorney Latasha on to see where she is. Because let's see here. Let's try it again. Here we go. Attorney Latasha. There we go. Heflin. Come on now. Come on, Instagram. Attorney Latasha Heflin. All right, let's try it one more time. Trying to send her an invite. All right, we're going to wait for her to come. And until then, we're going to keep this ball rolling because that's one of the things we always do. We always keep the ball rolling. And so one of the things that's also going on, you guys, next week, you guys, is we have the Black Bar Loss, the BOSTA going on in Houston, and then we have BOSTA going on also in Chicago. And, of course, also we have something going on in New York with Akuni. And so I want you guys to also be able to understand the value, what it takes to be able to meet with law schools and engage with them. It could be able to open up so many doors. In my conversation that I had with the Dean of Admissions at Pace Law School, literally law schools are setting up platforms for you guys to be able to speak with them directly And that provides a wonderful opportunity for you guys to be able to connect with them. I know one of the things oftentimes we find ourselves worrying about is either one, with law schools have gone ghost after we've applied, or either two, we're trying to figure out, can I get into this law school? Oftentimes the best way to be able to get access and get that information is to go directly to the plug. Go directly to the source. And for example, like PreLaw, they may have PreLaw, Baylor, Cooney, and Jackson State Law School. They literally have Jacksonville State Law School. They literally have web pages for you guys to be able to sign up for dates. What's going on, Jay? If you're not able to sign up for those dates, and if in fact there's not a platform there, one of the things I encourage you to do is to go and look to find out who are the people in admissions. And I want you to be able to send them an email to request an informational interview. This past app cycle, that has played a tremendous role in several of my students being able to secure admissions into law school. Understand this, fam, and I know Judith has heard it several times. Somebody out there is going to have your LSAT score. Somebody out there is going to have your GPA. But as I've told Ashanti before, is that however there's only one you. And the only way you're able to distinguish yourself from other people is by shooting your shot. In this game of law, in this journey of law school, you guys, it's all about building relationships and networking and opportunities. The reason oftentimes why people are able to secure admissions despite having so-called low LSAT scores or so-called low GPAs is because they've done a successful job of being able to connect with law school admissions and be able to turn those strangers into advocates who will pound on the table for you and your fitness and also your readiness to be able to go to law school. I see my girl is here now, Attorney Latasha, so let's go ahead and try to get her on. Life is going to life, and we're going to make a way. Has to be able to understand that literally this journey is all about perseverance. It's about you saying to yourself, accepting that it's not going to be easy and making a way. And what perfect example we have in this amazing licensed attorney right here. What's going on, Latasha?
Hello, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm so excited to be able to have you here. Of course, life started lifing.
Okay.
We found a way, made a way, which is what we do on this lawyer journey. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we do.
But nevertheless, I am so excited to have you on, sis. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
No problem.
One of the things that I love to be able to do is to be able to show people, lawyers, doing what they want to do, and also realizing that the struggles and that you may be currently going through, there's a lawyer practicing law that overcame that too. True. Because a lot of times we have this picture perfect image of what we think a lawyer is.
And that is not it.
We swear for God that, you know what, man, they don't understand because they had it easy. Pardon me not. But nevertheless, I want you, of course, to give your formal introduction, and we're going to jump into this sauce and start asking questions and putting hands on people and also filling people's cup.
Let's go. So, my name is Latasha Heflin. I'm a public defender here in Georgia, specifically Dalton, Georgia. I have been practicing for 6 years, and I have been a public defender the entire time, and I love it. That's just really the gist. Before I went to law school, I was in law enforcement. I did law enforcement for 4 years, and then I went to law school, and it has not been an easy journey. I am a first generation college grad, master, and lawyer. So it was very tough traveling and trying to navigate this space. And so I did it. I'm still learning, and I try to encourage any and everyone I can. So that's it.
All right. And she said, and that is the Latasha story. That's it. Oh, you about to dive deep, sis. Because one of the things I think that's amazing, right, is oftentimes I tell people the toughest thing in life on this journey, it ain't the LSAT, it ain't the bar. It's really that voice in our head that for some reason don't ever seem to always get on the right page. Always telling us, nah, bruh, I don't think you can do this because, hey, man, you know you good. You got the degree. You good. You go get this job right here.
Yeah.
But the only reason we keep doing this is because we love it. You
True.
know, and I ask this question to everybody. It's gonna have some brown sugar vibes to it. I'm showing my age, but that's cool.
It's okay.
Tell me, sis, when did you fall in love with law?
Oh man, so I fell in love with law at the age of 10 or 11. Okay, and it's kind of a very unique and emotional story for me, because I was raised in foster care. So my biological mom passed when I was 10. I knew my biological father, however, I had not lived with him. And so I was first introduced to the system, not necessarily the criminal justice system, but the system at the age of 10. And that came by way of the foster care system. And so it didn't take me long to figure out y'all ain't doing something right. And for me to feel like my voice was not being heard. So I knew then, at that moment, going to court, having to do checkups, being involved with defects and foster care and all these other issues, I was like, my voice is not being heard and I'm upset. So it was at that moment between the age of 10 and 11 that I was like, yeah, this law thing is going to be for me. I said it. I remember telling my family members, I'm going to go to law school. I want to be a lawyer. And I set that was my dream. That's what I said. And that was my journey.
And what's so amazing is just like for so many people, that's something happened as a child where the seed gets planted and that mother just
Yeah.
grows. And I tell people oftentimes, you have to be built a certain way in order to be able to continue down this journey.
Yeah.
Because we got friends, family, cousins, and kinfolk that be like, you crazy.
Yeah.
You what?
Yeah. When I was I want to be clear. So my first year, I was raised in the foster care system with strangers who I did not know. And then we were ultimately placed, my brothers and sisters, we were all ultimately placed with family members. And so I was always joked on for being the sedity one. Like, you got to chew your food 32 times. You talk proper. Like, I was always labeled, and it was just kind of, it hurt me then, right? It hurt me then, but it gave me tough skin that I did not know I needed for the future. That's how life works, you know. So that time frame was very pivotal for me. Going to law school again, I'm the first graduate generation of college to go to school, so it was difficult, very difficult.
And I guess the thing that's amazing for a lot of people out there, life is life in everybody, right?
Yeah.
But I think what the thing that Latasha said is so profound, but when life start life and it's actually preparing you for the next step. Because I mean, ain't no easy button, no none of this stuff.
At all.
And I think the thing that's amazing for you guys out there who are on the cusp of thinking about giving up, I want you to realize it's like, really, that's just, I want you to ignore it. And because, sis, let's keep it a buck here, sis. It wasn't like you got a red carpet. Hey, let's go to law school. Easy way.
Not
Give
at
me the
all.
book. Tell them how it went, sis.
So, okay, so being a first generational student of postgraduate era, I did not know the process. And when I say the process, I, one, did not know how to get to my undergraduate school. I got lost on the interstate, was crying on the side of the road, all that. So when I graduated law school, when I graduated undergrad, I graduated at the top of a freeze. It was a federal freeze and state freeze. And so there wasn't hiring anybody. And at that time, I did apply to law school. I applied. However, all of my applications were incomplete. So I will give you the time frame. I graduated undergrad in 2008. So I graduated in the spring of 2008. I had submitted my law school applications. However, I didn't know that the schools did not get my recommendation letters. So as a result, I didn't get into any law schools. So I was just trying to figure out what to do next. And then I went to become a police officer. So it wasn't until 2013 in August. He is my cousin, but I call him my brother. Passed away suddenly. Okay, so here I am. I'm struck with death again. And what made his death so significant to me, we used to always sit around the dinner table when we were younger talking about me becoming a lawyer. He used to call me Snoop Dogg because they thought I used to look like Snoop Dogg growing up. So we used to sit around joking how I was going to be the family attorney. So it hit real hard. And then as a result, it made me like, okay, Tasha, it's time for you to get back in the groove. So I started back applying to law school. I knew then, because of I've gotten older, I was able to call and make contacts with law schools, the process and what I needed to do. I retook the LSAT. My LSAT score was very, very low. Okay. I had a very, very low LSAT score. However, my GPA was high. And so I went to a nonprofit, Charlotte School of Law in North Carolina. And I started the spring of 2014. And y'all, I remember crying on the bathroom floor while in law school because I thought I failed my midterm. Like, it was me and my best friend, and she let me get it out. When I tell you, I was crawling and boohooing, and the struggle for financial gain, not being able to know when you're gonna pay your bills, to the fact that we lost our financial aid.
Yeah,
My second year, we lost our financial aid. My third year, I was in my third year, first semester, going into my last year, so I could not apply to other schools, or where I was applying to other schools, but I was too far into my journey for them to accept me. So I had to go my last semester not having any financial aid. So it was counting quarters. I remember in my living room pulling out my piggy bank and really counting money to go to the grocery store. It was very, like, the studying habits. Somebody broke into my apartment. Like, law school time was no joke, but I did have fun. I don't want y'all to think that it was all hard, but I did have fun. But law school was a struggle for me financially, emotionally, and just trying to persevere through it all. It was just difficult.
and I think the amazing thing is by sharing that there's people out there right now that's going through similar struggles. Maybe because in this journey, somehow you always got to pay something.
Something.
Always asking for something. I was like, sis, I swear for God, when the cash prices for my students went up, cash been going up like it's almost $200 now. It went
Yeah.
up during the
Yeah.
pandemic, and I'm sitting here like,
What we gonna do?
right. But the thing that's amazing, I want you guys to be able to understand, is that it's those times that you begin to realize you find the strength
Yes.
that you never knew you had. When you realize, okay, gotta wipe these tears up because I gotta do
These
something.
tears are not gonna get me these grades. They're not gonna pay these bills. Like, you just really start. I think for me in my law school journey, it taught me how to have a plan B. Right. So we always, and let me be clear, we can always set a goal for ourselves, and that's great. However, what is your plan B and what is your plan C? That doesn't mean because you didn't get plan A originally, that doesn't mean you can't double back, but you have to be able to pivot and be able to know that, okay, I'm gonna be okay. It may not be my time right now, but eventually my time is going to come, and that's how I felt even with taking the bar. I had to take the bar 3 times before I passed it. When I tell you that was devastating, because you work your entire life, or from your journey, to go to school, go to law school, and then the ultimate goal is you're supposed to pass the bar the first time. Well, that didn't happen for me. Not only did I not pass it the first time, I ain't passed it the second time. Okay, so I had to take the bar 3 times before I passed, and so each time I took it, it was devastating to me when I didn't pass, because people was like, "You still ain't passed the bar?
Yeah.
You, when you gonna pass the bar? You supposed to be smart." And then it was just like, "Dang, y'all can't give me a break?"
Get off my neck.
You
Damn.
know what I'm saying? Let me breathe. So that in itself was I couldn't find a job in my field. I was lucky able to go back to law enforcement, and it was crazy. Like, it wasn't like I missed the first exam by 12 points. And it's because I didn't finish. The first 2 times I never finished the exam. So anyone who is taking any type of bar exam, my advice to you would be finish. If you finish the exam, you are giving yourself 10 times more chances of passing the bar than when you don't finish. And they're looking for you to be able to articulate an argument. it doesn't mean that argument has to be right, but can you articulate and argue for the next person? That's what they're looking for.
For you guys who just joined us, as she picks up a camera, y'all, we are joined with Attorney Latasha, the best dressed public defender out there, y'all, for real, on period. And one of the things I always ask you guys, and this is questions, because I feel like literally this journey is all about, oh, you think you've grown. Okay, I'm about to make you grow some more. Oh,
Yeah.
you think, oh, you're going to grow some more. And so for those people who are maybe in the application process, let's talk about how was that process for you? Because think about it. I think oftentimes the biggest challenge is being able to find a school.
True.
Because I tell people, I said, there's 197 law schools out there. All you need is one yes.
That's true.
Being open to different opportunities is, so how was that process? We're going way back, sis.
So let's get it. I remember like it was yesterday because it really was a struggle. So in my mind, I knew that one, my LSAT score was low. And so I knew that I was going to have to do the top four, well, tier 4 schools. So it was in the 75 to 100 ranking of law school. And I knew that I was going to have to go out of state, and I knew that I was going to have to pay a lot of money. Okay, so my application process was geared toward, let's put as many applications as you can that's within driving distance of Georgia. Anything that's 6 hours away. So that was, I was able to do Charlotte. I did some schools in Tennessee. I did do the 4 schools in Georgia, just in case. I did schools in Alabama, and I did schools in South Carolina. And so what I found in that process was a lot of those schools had programs where, one, I was able to apply for application waivers. So I did the fee waivers for my applications. I also was able to get study guides. And then there was a program for, it was a school in Indiana, that I think it was Indiana, who had a program where you can go through the summer. And if you were able to pass 2 classes in the summertime, they will allow you to enter into their law school program. And that's how one of the schools in Charlotte also did that, Charlotte School of Law. So that's how I got into Charlotte. I applied to at least 50 law schools because, one, I didn't want to limit myself, and I wanted options. I only got into 4, okay? 4 of the 50. And I remember one of the professors in the summer program telling me, you have to bake a cake, okay? When you're baking a cake, you have to put all the ingredients in the cake, because if you miss an ingredient, the cake ain't gonna turn out right. It's gonna fall, it's gonna be bitter. And so I took that analogy and applied it to life. I'm baking a cake when I'm talking about Latasha Heflin. I have to put in ingredients to make me who I am. And that was my life. That was my life story. So when I started talking to people and started doing these applications, I was selling myself. I'm baking a cake because you don't know me. So I'll make sure I give you all the ingredients so that you will get to know me. And it helped. It got me through law school. So apply to as many schools as possible. When they're asking you in your interview process why you want that school, point out why that school is important. Point out their highlights. Do your research when you're talking about a school. And you don't have to sell like, well, because I didn't apply to anybody else. Wrong answer. I think I like I want to be a part of your school because your core values, your bar passage rates, the hands-on classes that you have for your students is very close to home. So in the need of emergency, those type things help you in this process. Also apply for those waivers. Those waivers will come in handy. Okay, so that was what I did for my applications.
Y'all got all that tea. Now break it down to you so y'all can understand. So the schools that Sis is talking about, y'all, she's talking about schools who offer conditional acceptances.
Yep.
And that's where you have an opportunity to prove yourself over the summer. And after you prove yourself, they're like, what's up?
What up?
Come on in. And for most of those conditional admissions programs, they have a high success rate because what they're looking for, and y'all, what you have to be able to understand is that the LSAT has been here forever and ever, right? But this has been here for so long also. Law schools have been able to see that there's people who outperform their LSAT scores. And we want to be able to flex and be like, yo, we saw the diamonds in the rough and we did well, and they did well.
Yep.
And because of that, law schools are looking for those diamonds in the rough. But the thing is, like you said, just like the cake. As soon as you start saying cake, I was thinking about the Rihanna song, cake, 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 cake. But literally, like, law schools are looking to see, do you have the ingredients? Do you have what Latasha had to be successful? Because Latasha went to Charlotte Law, did a damn thing, and now she's practicing law. What does that show you? That shows you that these conditional admissions programs work. But the thing is, you have to be able to invest time in finding them.
Mm-hmm.
I know I make posts about them, y'all. Y'all can check them out. I got a whole list of all of them.
Yeah.
But the amazing thing, and Latasha brought it up, there's a lot of schools that have them that keep it on the hush. They don't tell nobody.
Mm-mm.
They tell their friends and their family.
That's it.
Sometimes, you know that thing called a phone? You know that thing that we use sometimes?
Pick it.
Don't call Tyrone. Call the law schools and, hey, you guys offer conditional admissions programs? Because a lot of them do.
Yes.
And I think the thing that's amazing about it is just like, that was your first step of growth. It's like, okay, you know what? My score is not representative of who I am.
Yes.
So I got to put in some work. Mm-hmm. One of the things I tell Latasha, I say, listen, fam, I say, everybody got a winning case to get into law school. Do you got to get more evidence? Maybe. But are you willing to do what it takes to get in?
That's the question.
And that's only a question that you can answer. And I hope that you hearing her story, I mean, come on now. Someone told her no. She said, I'll wait. I'll wait. Because I know that something's out there for me. And so one of the things I think that's amazing too, and I want to ask you this, when did you realize that, okay, because I've worked with several students who were in law enforcement, that this is like, you know, I want to do more.
Okay. When did I realize? Well, so it wasn't just me working in law enforcement. I think it was just a combination of just life experiences.
Yeah.
But it was particularly me dealing with the kids, right? It was something about the children that just was like, oh man, if I reach one, I can teach one. You know what I'm saying? And so it was pouring into them and them being attracted to me for whatever reason, although they see me in uniform. And you were taught as a young age, like, the police are bad, don't talk to police, they're going to arrest you. You taught all these negative things, but for some odd reason, these kids gravitated towards me. And I think it's just solidified that at that point, I had the decision and the discretion in my role as a police officer to make your life better or make it worse. And so in that role, I'm charged with protecting the people, but at what cost am I protecting the people? And so you have to be able to discern between the good and the bad and just a simple mistake. And so I dislike leaving law enforcement, but I love why I left and what I'm doing now. And so it was in law enforcement that I was able to decide and determine I have the authority to change someone's life. That can be for good or that can be bad. And I'm choosing to give you a break sometimes. And sometimes people just did some messed up, crazy stuff. Yeah, it happens, right? Life happens. And so people still to this day, because my number hasn't changed, they find me on Facebook and they would message me and saying, I remember you. You gave me a break. You made me write a paper instead of taking me to jail. Like, it was those things. And when I tell you them papers, yeah, I used to come by your house. Oh yeah, where my paper at? And they would have it. Like, the fact that you can't get time back, right? Yeah. And so I used to. It was. I'm a firm believer that if I make you spend time on something, you're gonna remember that. And so most of the kids, it worked. Some it didn't, but I gave you the opportunity to change.
Love it. And I think also what you begin to realize with other students who have helped get in law school who were in law enforcement, it's like, I want to make a bigger impact on people. And I realized that I could be able to make a bigger impact on people in a different capacity. Now, one of the things I think that's amazing is when you go to law school, I want you to tell me about that first time you got cold called. You sit here like, what the hell?
So for me, I'm now, it didn't bother me, right? Because I am a person who was disciplined enough to read, but it was my friends who would get cold calls. So we had this one professor, and I love him. I'm not gonna say his name, but he was an African American professor, and he put in his syllabus that if you were late to class, you had to sit in the front row, and you were going to be called on all day. And a couple of people didn't read their syllabus, okay? And so here they come in late, and two of them were my friends. And so they hadn't read, and they cold calling. So I began to be known as a very loud girl who's going to save you from getting in trouble. And so I didn't have a problem with I didn't have a problem being cold called. I had to get used to how to answer the question. I knew the material, but sometimes I did not give the answer that they wanted. And so I had to really listen in to what was really being asked of me. And so it was fine for me. I love to talk, so I didn't have an issue with it. Again, it was my friends that got in trouble.
And for you guys out there that may be afraid of the Socratic method, realize this: like, you get cold called and things go left, it's not going to impact your grade. The goal is really for you to be able to be engaged in learning and understand that literally what they're forcing you to do is to really unlearn what you learned your whole life, which was what? Memorize and regurgitate. You get in law school, it's the first time where you're like, hold on, so I read it, but what does it mean? But nevertheless, one of the other things I want to ask you about, sis, is I want you to tell me about what was one of the biggest changes that you had to make in order to take the next step in your lawyer journey. Because think about it. You can think about the bar when you had to make that shift to finally get it that third time, or even in law school where you had to realize this is what I have to do to be successful.
Okay, I'm a answer in parts. So the biggest sacrifice I had to make to go to law school was moving. I had to move to I didn't know anyone, and so trying to relocate by finding a place, move everything from one place to another, that was an adjustment. Part two was me learning how to take the bar exam. That was an adjustment and a growth. And so when I didn't pass the first two times, because I didn't finish, the third time I did nothing but time myself, and I wrote all the answers to every question. And so when it came down to taking the bar the third time, I knew the time. I wasn't nervous about the time. Also, I had written the rules, so I was memorizing the rules while I was writing them. And in that same sense, I had this shirt that said following distinguishable standards, but it really said fuck that shit. My temperament, my mind was like, I'm coming, yeah, I'm coming in here. Excuse my language, but I'm coming in here with the mindset that regardless of what happens, I'm a pass. So I wasn't nervous. I was more calm, and to be honest, I had made amends with my biological father. I think that was a weight that God was really saying, you need to fix this. And so it was, I took the bar in July of 2018. The 1st of July, I went to meet my father. And well, again, I knew him, but I had a sit down conversation, and we had a conversation about my childhood, how I felt, and my mom. So when I came into the bar, I was a little bit more relieved because I had that conversation. And so the third thing, as far as me taking the position that I took now, as far as finding a job, again, I had to move. But I was in a relationship and I was engaged, and I had to leave that relationship to be where I am today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Y'all got all
A
that,
lot.
right? But I think hey man, this journey is going to cost you your comfort zones. Like, real talk, like, I want to go to this school. I don't want to change my apartment. I want to stay in this state. Nah, bruh. And,
Yeah.
and one thing that's so crazy about this journey, you guys, and I hope you're able to see through her story, is it's like, literally, this lawyer journey is selfish as hell.
It has to be.
It don't share. It don't divide time. Because if it don't take all your time, you're going to take it again. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
You want to share? Take it again. When you going to learn?
Yep.
And but the thing about it is just like that moment of discomfort is worth a lifetime of peace.
Yeah.
Until actually you get the job as a public defender, you like, oh snap! I prayed for this guy for real.
And I loved it.
So
Yeah.
tell them, sis, what is life like as a public defender? Because I think people have their views from the outside. Go ahead and take us behind the curtain.
One, let me tell y'all, for the people who don't know, public defenders are real attorneys. Okay, we take the same exam as a private attorney. The only difference is private attorneys get to pick and choose and charge you a whole lot of money versus I get you because you can't afford an attorney. Okay. But it's stressful, right? My caseload isn't as bad as the person in Atlanta, okay? Because I have a smaller circuit. However, I can float anywhere between 300 cases in my court per year, if not more. The most I've reached was during the COVID, and I had like 500 cases, and I was in my courtroom by myself. But when I tell you, you learn faster, you're learning faster, and you're able to learn how to talk to people and issue spot faster. The best practice is to get into it and do it. As a public defender, you learn how to prioritize your time. Every case is not going to take you, you're not going to work on it for 5 hours because you're going to be able to look at, oh, it's a simple probation violation. Either he or she is going to admit, and this is what I have to do for a probation revocation hearing. So what you're learning is people just want to talk. Most of my clients just want to see me to have that 30-minute conversation. And sometimes I have to go see them twice a week. Okay, if I need to give you that energy, I give you that energy. But for me, it's just people just feel like public defenders are trash. And to be honest, we are some of the best attorneys that you know. And when you're looking for a private attorney, the best person to ask is a public defender. The public defender is going to show you who can represent you when you want to hire a private attorney.
So we got a question here. Sis wanted to ask. She says, "Wow, do you have to do your own research as a public defender?"
Yes. Yeah, so what we do is you work smarter and not harder. So we have this drive, and it should be in every public defender's office, where you already have some sort of brief that has already been written. And so you can go in and change the facts to what situates your case. However, you just need to make sure the case law is still on point, because case law is constantly changing. So that would change how you argue the point. But yes, I research my own, unless I'm having my second chair, which is the other person in my courtroom, do some research. But I go behind him and I will read the cases he has found in his draft and then edit it. But for the most part, I want to write my own draft. I want to write my own motions because I'm the one who has to argue it in front of a judge. So I want to make sure I know what I'm talking about.
AKA, what she's saying, if my name on that, then I'm going to look it up, right?
That part.
And also what happens, and I remember when I had to do this, she, of course, also gets help from those aspiring lawyers, those 1Ls and 2Ls who are sending emails right now asking about clerkships for the summer. She's going to be like, here you go.
Yep, that's it. So when we have interns, and so interns are 1Ls, 2Ls, or even high school, we haven't had a high school student intern. They are so eager to get into the courtroom. And so I make sure I show you around. Come on. And you want to issue, you want to see how I argue this brief, you want to have a conversation with the client. I put you in a position as if it's a real life situation so that you can talk and know what to expect if you decide to come on this side. Because again, clients are funny, right? You never know what side you're gonna get. One minute they happy, the next minute they mad, and then sometimes they in between. And so I deal with mental health issues clients as well. So my day it just depends on what I'm dealing with and who I'm dealing with. So I make sure you get the experience that you need, and I'm walking you through why you're doing what you're doing and why you are asking these questions. I was always taught, think beyond the dot. It's a small little black dot right there, but it can expand. So I need you to think beyond that small dot, because you can be very creative as a public defender. Your arguments can be outrageous. You may lose, but you can come up with any argument you want.
And the thing, I hope you guys caught one gem she also said. Listen, yes, she has interns who are in law school, but she also gets interns who are in high school too. So what does that mean to you? That means in every county there is a public defender's office, overwhelmed with cases and eager to have someone say, "Oh, you want to help? Come on over here, fam." And so understand this. We're now in a day and age where I tell people, if you don't have legal experience, it's purely based off of a. There are lawyers looking for an opportunity to not just expose you to the law, but also to give you access to something that they didn't have. Because sis, did you have any access to lawyers?
No, I did not, other than the foster care system, but no hands-on direct contact or mentoring with any lawyer.
And let me just ask this quick question. I'm being facetious, but I want you guys to be able to understand this. Have you ever cursed out anybody that asked about internship or networking opportunities?
No.
So I said that because I want you guys to be able to understand that these people don't bite. Literally, how many years ago? Sis was in your shoes,
yes,
trying to figure it out.
Yes.
I think the thing that's amazing, you guys, to be able to understand is that it almost becomes its own type of community or family, because when we look around, we don't see a lot of us either.
5% African Americans make up attorneys. 2% of African Americans are women.
And because of those numbers, you don't think we want to see those numbers go up? You don't see the excitement that I know I get hella excited. I be like, "Oh, snap, we got some of us in here."
I see you. We see each other.
Right. Looking for the opportunity to help you guys out. And I want you guys to be able to understand. And I asked this question facetiously, but sis, how much does it cost to go to court?
Gas money, I guess.
Right? Or you can take the MARTA, or but what I mean by that, you guys, is there's a platform for you guys to be able to gain experience daily.
It's free.
Courtrooms are free 99. Lawyers are all over. Heck, since keep it a buck, tell them lawyers be up in court. No business being up in there.
Being nosy.
Find them some coins.
We be being nosy in court. That's what we do. And so we come to court, dress appropriate, just sit in the back. Go to your local clerk's office, asking what trials they may have coming up, what court dates they may have, and I promise you they'll tell you, because it's against the law for them not to tell you. Okay, like it's an open platform, so they're not going to hide this information. And just come and be a fly on the wall. I promise you, it'll be entertaining.
It definitely was. Since I'm waiting for somebody to do a reality show on public defenders. Now, of course, I know they got to change the names, but just like literally. I'd be like, "Look who coming in here. What's about to happen? I don't know. Watch this. It would be gold. Am I right?
Man, that happened yesterday in court. I'm back there talking about a private attorney like it ain't no business. Like, oh, he ain't gonna get this. Look at the judge's face. The judge ain't listening to him no more. He already made up his mind. He waited till, like, we be going in on some of it's in a good way. Because let me tell you, what I say behind your back, I most definitely can say it to your face. Okay, so, and I'm not being disrespectful to anyone. First of all, you have to have a sense of humor being in this line of work, because we deal with a lot of things and we try our best not to take it home. So when we're laughing at one another because we've been there, we know when a judge is looking a certain way, or how you see somebody who's in the jail and you want them brought over. Oh, you want them brought over because you don't want them charges read out loud. You don't want them to know they've been working. So, it's a system to it all, but I promise you're going to be entertained. I promise you.
And I want to ask you this question, because there's a lot of people out there oftentimes, like I said in the beginning, they doubt themselves. Mm-hmm. When did you realize, like, I could do this shit? Like, oh, snap, I got this.
It was really, so COVID, 2019, I was still I was shadowing, and I was bouncing from courtroom to courtroom, and just so happened both of the two attorneys left. One went private and one moved away. So at that point in time, I elevated. Like, I moved from the lower court to superior court. I ended up having my own courtroom. And so it was being able to navigate a court system when you're not able to have court, still being able to move cases, go talk to clients, get plea offers, get people to go to trial. And my judge My judge told my boss, do not move her out of my courtroom. It was at that moment when she sat me down, when she became the new chief public defender, and she sat me down and said that, I was like, oh, okay, I got this. I got this. Yeah. I felt good. Like, it's like a little kid in the kiddie store. Like, yeah, I'm about to get some candy. I was so excited because, one, it
Yeah.
encouraged me that I was doing the right thing. Two, I was very, very efficient with my clients. And three, it was like I'm learning. I'm going to make mistakes. Yeah. But if my judge believes in me, I got to believe in me. It was at that point. Yeah.
She said, I put all the chips in. Now, one of the things I always have you guys do is close is right now, sis, you know this journey, boy. It's a lot of, I feel like it's a lot more downs than there are ups.
Yeah.
And there are people at different stages. You know, you got people that may have got rejections today or this week. Got people that are about to take the LSAT. Mm-hmm. They take the LSAT this weekend, sis.
Mm-hmm. They do.
You got people prepping for the bar, which is
in February. Yep.
And at every last one of those stages, that voice of doubt is always there. And I always love for you guys to give a word. I know we ain't at church, but we're going to act like it today. To give a word of encouragement. Because I tell people, man, those words of encouragement, be getting us through sometimes.
It does.
So I want to go ahead and give you the floor and go ahead and give us your words, sis.
So my word of encouragement to whoever is getting ready to take up the LSAT, to take the bar, or who is applying to law school, may not didn't get into the law school that you really wanted to get into. I pray and encourage you to give yourself grace, right? Give yourself grace and give yourself time to feel through every emotion that you were feeling, whether that be sadness, anger, frustration, disappointment. Feel through it, right? But don't stay there too long. That's the key. You are human. You're going to feel those emotions, and you need to, because you're going to need to know how it feels in the future, because you're going to need to know how to react if you're ever presented with this situation again. We all fall short. We don't fail, we fall short. And so the key is to get up, dust yourself off, put a little Band-Aid on it. You know what I'm saying? Put a little Band-Aid on it, peroxide. It may sting a little bit. Nurse yourself back to health and try it again. And just know the journey is not over. Right now it's difficult. It's difficult. But I promise you, it's going to get better.
Boom. Mic drop, Obama. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you guys out there stay encouraged. Realize that you are not alone on this journey. Yeah. We got a whole family. We got a whole community of people that are rooting for you, praying for you, yes, really waiting to be able for you to reach out and ask for help. Yeah. If you're first gen, she's first gen. Understand I was first gen. Understand rejection is a part of the growth. Yeah. That's how you learn. All right, that didn't work. All right, pivot, try something else. And all it is learning about yourself. Mm-hmm. What ultimately happened with Latasha, she figured out what she had to do. And that's really what we all have to do. Yeah. Figure out what works best for us, mm-hmm, and really live in that space. So, sis, thank you for joining us tonight. Mm-hmm. For you guys out there, we're still here for you. Tell them how to holler at you on Instagram, sis.
So, follow me on Instagram at Attorney Latasha Heflin. I'm putting more information out there. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me. I respond within 48 hours. That is my calling card, 48 hours response, okay? Don't think I'm ignoring you. Give me grace, okay? Give me 48 hours. Again, Attorney Latasha Heflin is my handle on Instagram.
And she be having some fire reels, y'all. That's what I was like, oh, I gotta holler at her. So you are not alone, yo. We are here for you. Don't be scared. We don't bite. We're here to help you, uplift you. Because by uplifting you, we're uplifting our community.
Yes.
So reach out to us. All right? Peace and blessings to everybody out there. Continue to fight for your lawyer dreams. And Kenya, I will text you back. All right, sis? Peace and blessings, y'all. Take care. Again,
thank you for having me.